All right, so I'm gonna record pretty much myself journaling daily. So I've been journaling for already quite a bit, like actively, I would say. Um, it's been a few months now, so it's pretty consistent, as you can see. And now it is March 1st, so well, I gotta zoom in. All right, there we go. My PC was glitching there a little bit. I mean, it's March 2nd. Wait, why are we loading up? Thought I did my pre-market analysis today. I guess it didn't load. That's really odd because I was absolutely bullish. Anyway, maybe I didn't. I don't. Good point. I don't think I did it. Interesting. Whatever. But I remember what I wanted to see and all that. Anyway, so we're gonna disregard the pre-market analysis, I guess, for this video. So we're just gonna mainly focus for the trades that I took, and then the pre-market analysis I'll just fill in real quick. So what I was looking at for the pre-market, essentially, I saw this photo right here, and I was bullish. So I saw on the 4 hour, right, we took out this low on, where is it? This low down here on the S, you see? And you can see the exact CE of the 4 hour and exact CE of the daily. And that to me, I was like, all right, we got to turn around a little bit for sure here. Because this is not previous week. This is 2 weeks ago low Friday, right? So it's been 2 weeks between here, February 6th and March 2nd. So when I see us, having an SMT off of this, I'm absolutely expecting something like to happen on the hourly chart, daily to hourly. So going down to the 1 hour, obviously I didn't see any sequential SMT at the lows on the hourly chart, but I saw the 1 hour SMT and I'm expecting to see a 90-minute something below that. And so hopping onto the 15-minute chart, I saw we had this daily fill. Um, where was it? We had this daily fill right here with this gap, which is bullish, right? And right here is your 15-minute PSP as well to confirm it. Also, we had a 90-minute cycle over here. You can see it with the Dow. Pretty sure it was with Dow. And so then I was, that's why before 9:30, that's why I was very bullish. So I'm just going to go ahead and drop this photo in there because that was absolutely what I was anticipating. And I actually got all of my bias today correct. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this in here like that. Like this. Right, and I'm going to say exactly what I expected earlier. I expect us to run up and fill the opening gap due to having a SMT on daily chart and a 90-minute cycle prior to New York Open. And then obviously I can't really see the bias, but I would say my bias was definitely a good 8 out of 10 at least. I was very confident in my bias for today. So now we're going to focus on the trades that I took today. This is the main thing that I wanted to, do or focus on for these videos. Just for accountability purposes, I wanted to record myself journaling them. And so let's go ahead and take a look at that. So my first trade of the day was right here. And this was the main trade and the main focus that I'm going to have for my journal. So right here you can see it was a really close buy. So my TP was at the highs. And then fortunately I put my stop right here at a really tight stop. And if I put it to the low, I would have been safe and I would have hit my TP. in 4R, whatever, it would have hit. So quite unfortunate with that part. But the setup was simple, right? So we already have step one, which was step one was the 1 hour, the daily chart with 90-minute SMT. Then step two in this case was, I'll show you guys that actually. There we go. Right here. Bam, perfect. So step one was the 90 as we know it. And then step two was right here. PSP on Dow. We closed below. This one wicked and was just inside. So I know this isn't sequential, but this was the setup that I took, and I would say it was a good B plus setup. And then right here you can see how right after that PSP we have, there we go lower, I'm not sure if it's out. We have an SMT with the Dow, confirming the reversal for the setup. And then my entry was on this candle right here. And I entered at 15.75 right here. I'm going to show you guys that on the other screen. Oh no, 16.75. 16.75. So 16.75, and the entry was. Oh wait, whoops, it was on the next candle. My bad. 16.75 right here. So essentially, I wanted us to just tap it and run off because 15-second SMT and so on and so forth. So we fill me in, and then I decided to drag my stop right here to 58. I was like, I don't want to risk going at 300. If I did set it to here or to the low, which is absolutely normal, right? This right here would be only a 420 risk, which is totally fine for me. Like that's a good, healthy risk. That would have been fine. But I set my stop quite tight to here. And you can see it stops me out and then runs higher. So we're going to go ahead and draw this out. This was essentially my setup. And I'm going to take a photo of this and post it into my perfect. Right there would have been TP. And yeah, so let's go ahead and draw this SMT out. SMT. Quite unfortunate, especially because you see the ES wick back down right here, and it didn't reach anything. Well, NQ did. So NQ is just the one that was lagging today. You can see even the Dow was running higher. So because of this reason, I should have put my stop at the low. I should have noticed that, but hey, it is what it is. You live, you learn. So now I'm gonna pop this in here, and this is the 15-second chart. So I'm gonna drop that in there. I'm gonna write out my steps. So 90. Step 2 was SMT fill plus PSP 15-second plus order block. And I'm gonna give this trade out a rate at 4 stars. 4 stars. I am giving this trade a 4-star rating due to the good draw, good quality setup, and the only drawbacks are the stop being too tight and the fill not being sequential. B plus overall for the setup. I would say like a C for the execution because that stop was pretty poor. No, honestly, I give it like a B minus for the execution because it's not often that you see this on a Monday. So, but yeah, and then pop the 1 minute into there as well, right here just to show. And right here was the PSP. Yeah, I really did have. Yeah, I see it now. Yeah, that wasn't the best. Bam, bam. And there we have it. That's it for this. Okay, and that's essentially the trade of the day that I did take. I think it's the best trade today. When I saw that PSP in the 15 second, I realized that this is probably where we're going to turn around at. And the reason why, you can see over here is setup. Reason why is because it's before New Week opening app, right? So we can see New Week opening app is up here. I mean, New Week opening app is this whole move, but this swing is what our draw was, right? And we didn't close about the swing or trade through it yet. So we swung up, came down, and that was a solid setup. Like the setup was very nice. Just just gotta place that stop lower. And then I will show to the video my rest of my entries. Not the proudest ones, but some very solid entries. So right here, this was a short, and I actually don't mind the short at all. I think it was still a very great short. Fortunately, it wasn't sequential. Um, Short was at 1026. Yep. So I wanted to see us take these lows out because these are the 10 o'clock lows, and I wanted to see us have some kind of manipulation up below them. And I shorted it right here in this candle, 1026. And so there was no, we hit the New Week opening at high and then we pulled lower. And there was no sequential SMT, but I saw this 15-second right here, right? You guys see that 15-second SMT. Then here was the close. And then I entered at 901.5. 901.5. I just very aggressive entry like this. And then my stop was just at the high. Wait, am I tripping? 901.5, where is that? Okay, wait. This isn't lining up with top step. You can see 901.5 is literally right here. So that entry doesn't make sense. So in relation to the trading view chart, okay. Bro. What is it doing? Alright, there we go. So in relation to the trading view chart, my entry was right here. And then I put my stop right there, right? Nice and tight. And then you can see it started to run. And then I set it to break even, like around this area, like just a couple bucks in profit, like something like this. And then this right here, when it came back up, low-key chickened out. You can see I kind of pussied out and just left there at like 9.5, like over here. And that was really stupid of me because, if I left here even, that would have been, I mean, we're talking, that already would have been a band at least. But you live, you learn, and my draw was this low, so you can see it didn't hit. But I did leave whatever. I left it. The reason I set it to break even, I closed it around there, was because I knew that it wasn't sequential, but I saw the Q4 needed to pull back. So that was essentially the whole idea of that. And then last but not least, at this point, right, I had this trade that was a loss, this one that was like break even essentially. I was like, all right, I'm only gonna take one more if I see my setup very clearly. And so right here, what we see is a micro, right here, micro, with a 90, micro and a 90. And then we pull back up right here. This is not sequential. This is a fill, right? Whatever, like it's a mediocre, ugly fill, but there's no PSP inside of this fill yet. We're a clean PSP in the lower 50% range for me to consider this continuation higher. So now I see these two PSPs right here. Actually, no. Let me lock in real quick. Okay, so right here was a micro with a 90 lower. So and then right here was a 15-second fill. This one closed. This one closed all the way in the Dow. This one closed halfway, and this one closed halfway. Well, this one closed almost all the way actually. Yeah. And so at that point, I was very bearish. And then I used the 15-second right here. I used this 15-second TCISD, which it's a 1 minute low, as my entry, and my stop was right here. For 60 ticks exactly. And then watching this chop around, I was like, all right, I don't really see this having a big move. I was like, all right, whatever. Like we're chopping around. I don't know if this fill is going to be there. I understand that my draw is down here. Like my draw was these lows and so on. And I was like, you know what? Like I'm not going to close it because I already risked, right? So if I entered the risk and entered the position, then I gotta let it run. I gotta at least take some kind of profit off of my setup, right? Because the setup is still there. The setup's absolutely there. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna leave at like, I think I left like around here. And so then you can see it chop, and eventually, watch, next candle goes lower. It fills me in. I mean, takes me out, and then bam, bam, and then it pulls up and it goes away. And so, kind of glad on that exit. You know, not a bad exit at all, which is the reason why I ended the day up. Due to this has 6 trades because I took some like one micro stuff. But all in all, quite proud of the way. I mean, not too proud of the way I handled because on the combine that was kind of stupid. I took this one right, which was fine, and then I took this combine buy, which was really dumb, and that's the part that really costed me on those combines. And so these combines now aren't in best shape. You can see they are literally 450 away from being blown. And so tomorrow, I'm just gonna do my XFA. I'm gonna trade my XFA the way I would normally trade it, so 1 mini instead of 2 minis. And then the combines will just hop on there. And yeah, that would be it. And I can't adjust the risk settings, but I would adjust this one to 500, and 500 would be the max I let myself lose on the XFA since I'm using 1 mini. And so yeah, all in all, that's essentially it. I don't like seeing the realized P&L. Just that stuff, just unnecessary, right? I guess I can leave this on. Whatever. Okay. Anyway, all in all, that's it for today. And last but not least, with the journal, I can drop a photo in there, I guess, of the current. Almost done here. Drop a photo in there. Bam. Bam. The trade of the day, honestly, the only trade of the day was that B plus setup. If we're keeping it a buck for and I took it, so I'm quite happy. Trade of the day was the setup you took. Just ladder stop, and it was perfect. And smiley face. Perfect. Spot on analysis. Unfortunate that. No, nothing unfortunate. Spot on analysis called the new opening gap levels and everything delivered for a Monday runner. Perfect. And that's really it. Like that's all it takes, right? Just this every day. Yeah, that's it. So thanks for watching the video. I'll see you guys tomorrow.